Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. I'm happy to be back. Let's just say that. Happy Halloween. I was on vacation, but now we're back to bring you some of this beautiful content. Remember, this is not financial advice. This is not any type of professional advice. Make sure you read these articles on your own and understand what they mean to you. This is my opinion and the way I see the world. And we have to understand that everybody sees the world differently. We all have different realities. I'm just here to offer information. So take it or leave it. But happy Halloween, everybody. Let's get right into this content. Now, we're going to start off with some, mediocre news, but it's one of those things where we have to see how the hands of time are moving. Okay. So this article basically reads, Fortune claims Polymarket is rife with wash trading. So, back in the days, for some of those who are older, we understand how the mob and these different entities used to work. They would open up a laundromat, a dry cleaners, small little businesses, and they would wash their money, correct? Well, this is a different way of doing it. This is the digital age of things. We are in the fourth industrial, revolution. So this is a new way for these illegal entities to wash their money. So basically what happens is they bet and they sell they buy and sell based off the bets and stuff like that. But either way it goes, they win money. So imagine you have dirty money, you put it into the market, you buy or sell or bet against yourself. Well, that money becomes washed. Governments and stuff might try to ask you where you got that money to bet. But it's one of those things where if you do this enough times and you make enough money, you're basically washing your money the same way you would if you had a laundromat. You know what I mean? But it's one of those things where we have to understand the age we're moving into. We have to understand that this is not going nowhere. Crypto, blockchain, and all these industries that come out of this are not going anywhere. Some might fall off, but for the most part, people are going to understand how to get around these things. And that's what's happening. So if you read these articles, you'll see Polymarket is one of those places where you can bet on who you think is going to win an election. It's just a whole bunch of ways to bet, and they have all kinds of bets. You can bet on like the Republicans. You could bet it on who the VP was going to be for Trump, and so on and so forth. So check it out. Not just the article, but also check out Polymarket if you're into something like that, if you need to wash some money. And not advice whatsoever, so do what you want. Now let's move on. So this is another thing. This is more political, and this kind of goes back to what we just covered in the last article. But this is something that we have to understand on a grand scale. Like I just said, crypto is not going anywhere. And if you haven't looked into it, I recommend that you do. Not financial advice, but look at what crypto has to offer. Not just for you, but for the world. And understand that, if you look at Harris/Trump, there's so many different sectors that each of them go into, but where they meet and where they come together is crypto regulation. Okay. So we have to understand that, they fight about the border. They fight about this or that. But one thing where they do align is crypto. So we have to understand, what does that tell you? All the other bull BS, it's cool. If you have an opinion about that, that's up to you. For me, I'm following the crumbs until I get to the bread. I don't like to argue about right or left, blue or red. It doesn't matter. Your vote is your vote, and it should be kept that way. I know people have opinions about who's a better candidate, but at the end of the day, cast your vote without even getting into discussions or arguments with people, because no one's gonna benefit. You never win an argument. Remember that. Okay, moving on. Coinbase taps Visa Direct to enable real-time accounting funding and instant crypto purchases. So this is amazing. I love Coinbase. Okay, I like Visa too. Visa is one of those big entities, but Coinbase just started up. But one thing I want us to look at here is where this firm is based. They're San Francisco based. Okay, and if anybody's been paying attention, we know Silicon Valley, and just that area alone has created a lot of blockchain technology and also crypto technology. And it just goes down the line when you follow, like I said earlier, follow the crumbs until you get to the bread. So basically, those who know, XRP was also created in San Francisco. So you have to think about it. If you have a major corporation, institution, or organization that works kind of in the same field as you, you're going to have sit downs with them. You're going to have NDAs signed where it's like, we're meeting with Coinbase, we're meeting with Ripple, we're meeting with Visa, we're meeting with these different partners, and understand that a lot of this stuff happens behind closed doors. We only get the tip of the iceberg when it comes to these articles and things like that. So we have to stay aware of that. Let's not get caught in the noise. Let's not get caught in all the drama and BS. Remember, this is my opinion, so take it or leave it. But if you do a simple Google search and you ask, does Ripple work with Visa? You get it right here. The AI answers for you. Yes, Ripple works with Visa in a few ways. You guys can go do the Google search on your own and understand that the plumbing has being laid right before us. Everything else that's around us right now, in my opinion, is a distraction. We are moving into a new financial system, and you're either going to be aware of it and take advantage of it, or you will be left behind. Simple as that. Now you can see the few companies that Ripple works with, but also Visa works with. We have Currency Cloud. Okay, I believe Visa partnered with them, but also is now the owner of them. So you have to understand, Ripple goes in, it's a technology. They build the technology for these companies, and then they sell them. That's the best way to do it. You get me? And then you have Volante Technologies, and then you have RippleNet. And it basically tells you over 100 financial institutions that include Ripple and other partners such as Santander, Canada, Imperial Bank of Commerce, and Kotek Maharashtra Bank. I don't know. I butchered that last one. But we have to understand, a lot of this stuff is happening behind closed doors, and we are not going to get the full scope of what's happening. Okay, let's move on to some more XRP Ripple news. Now, I don't like to just cover XRP or Ripple. I love other projects. And if you guys find a project that you think is interesting, let me know. Send me a message on X, or even just drop it in the comments down below. But it's one of those things where I know what's going to help people in the future. A lot of people might not like it, but if you invest in certain things now, you will have the benefit of it later. Not financial advice, but understand it takes time. There's no, overnight get rich scheme. You have to invest over time. Okay, accumulate, compound. It's simple math, but most don't have the patience to sit down and do that for themselves. But basically what this article explains is Ripple co-founder Chris Larson predicts regulatory sea change. It says war on crypto about to end one way or another. And that's exactly what I was talking about here in this article. It doesn't matter who becomes president. This guy, sometimes they speak out of their butt. I get it. But we have to understand what's happening. So basically, Larson has donated nearly 12 million. Okay, 12 million to Vice President Kamala Harris. All right. So we have to understand, if they're able to donate this fake, quote unquote, unfake money, air money, digital money, it's real. Okay. A lot of people don't want to get involved with it because they think it's just sky money. It's really not. Once you start seeing little telltale signs like this, then it lets you know what the future has in store. So read through this article, understand what he's basically saying, and understand that, like, if you're able to donate this air money to a presidential candidate, then that should be enough for some people. But I digress. Some people need more evidence than that. Okay, moving on. So this is some more XRP news, and this will be the last article for the day. But, we love XRP over here. XRP to the moon, I want to see all ships rise with the tide, but we know that's not the truth, okay? Make sure you do your research when it comes to these coins, okay? SEC acknowledges Grayscale request to convert its GDLC fund containing XRP to an NFT. So XRP does not have EFT. I think I said NFT earlier, but it does not have an EFT yet. But what they're trying to do here, Grayscale, just like we have the NYSE, they're basically, we have a bucket of different type of stocks that are put into one stock, an ETF. And that's basically what's happening with them. So this is the holdings of this, what is it called? This ETF, we could say, but it actually holds BTC, ETH, Solana, XRP, and Avalanche. I think it holds a couple others. But read through this article and understand, if they're not going to be able to get the EFT one way, they're going to try it the other way. And then once they do it the other way and it gets accepted, that's when the doors get open. That's when the floodgates open. You know what I mean? But I already know the SEC is not crypto friendly right now. But these companies and these entities are going to keep trying because they understand the future of what's happening. And just like BTC has an ETF, it's one of those things where some people who aren't involved in crypto get onboarded into crypto through these ETFs. An article just came out the other day saying, I think it was BlackRock, they're at like 30 billion or something like that. We'll find that article and we'll probably present it for you guys tomorrow. But it's one of those things where if you know what's happening and if you play chess and understand the pieces on the board, then you'll be able to make a good solid move for yourself and benefit from it. Okay, moving on. So China reduces its US Treasury bonds from 1.2 trillion to under 800 billion. Will it consider Bitcoin? This article basically says it's not going to consider Bitcoin. It probably already owns a massive amount of Bitcoin, to be honest, but it's neither here nor there. But it's one of those things where we see what's happening around the world. I think Japan still holds the most treasuries for US, but it's one of those things where I think they see what's going to happen to America, especially with our elections and especially what's been going on with all these people getting arrested like Diddy, and they see what's happening. And I think the next 2 to 3 years are going to be rough for the US. It could be great, but in my opinion, I just think this whole idea of cryptocurrency and this new financial structure, like most countries are in debt, especially the US. And then we have entities like China and Japan and other countries that hold major US Treasury bonds. And we've been stuck on the petrodollar for a long time. So it's one of those things where a lot of other countries can see the writing on the wall. It's just as Americans, we're so spoiled, we're so used to this good life that we forget that it's not just about America. It's about these other institutions, banks, and countries around the world that understand, political and geopolitical rife. So we have to understand that if we see moves like this from China, and China loves their money, but basically this chart here says at this rate, there will be almost entirely divested from US Treasury papers in a decade. So like I said, if they keep moving at this trajectory, and if other smaller countries see China doing this, they're going to start pulling out as well. So let's just be aware of what's happening. The debt keeps rising. We have this new innovation coming in, and in my opinion, I just think all the debt's going to be transferred over to the ledger, and whoever's holding this paper money will be stuck with it. But, this is just my opinion. Make sure you guys check out these articles for yourself. Again, they're in the description down below, or you can head over to my X at the King Louis. Okay. And just, drop a comment, drop a crown, and understand that, your mind is your crown. Information is key. Don't let it go to waste. I appreciate all you guys giving me a like, a share, and a subscribe. You guys have a brilliant day. And again, happy Halloween. Stay safe out there.